The perception of Harry isn't as bad as it is with Meghan because Harry gets on a plane and busts his hump and goes to the Invictus Games, and then goes to Africa and does, keeps up his mother's foundation. The royal is in him. Meghan, when she's keynote speaker at a different event, you're like, why? When she gets the archetypes thing, like big, huge Spotify deal, why? The Netflix show, why?
Yeah.
Why? She comes off more as a grifter than he does. I just watched the first two episodes of the second season. And by the way, it wasn't renewed. It was all shot at once and they cut it up in half. They didn't bring back the camera crews and all the expensive equipment, which costs so much money. And like the podcast, has an authenticity problem. There's so many actresses whose bestie is either hair, makeup, or wardrobe. They listen to you and they tell you you're right and they compliment you every step of the way. It's not a friendship. A friend tells you, girl, this show is a steaming pile of because you're forcing something down people's throats that they don't want. You're not being you.
Hi, all. Kinsey Schofield here, and I'm so excited to be with Billy Bush, host of Hot Mics with Billy Bush on TuneIn Radio and YouTube. Of course, I'm going to tell you, I've loved you forever and ever and ever. And it's so much more fun to have access to you these days on YouTube and to talk, to get your reaction in real time about, and also you're not in this position where you're kind of like locked in and can't be yourself. I get that as a viewer. Do you feel that way too, now that you're doing your own thing?
Freedom, Kinsey. Freedom at last. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, should have done it years ago, I guess. But then things happen when they happen. Look, you got a safe check from a place like Warner Brothers, and before that, NBC forever, and it's like, hard to walk away from. But those checks are getting smaller,
Yes.
and those audiences are going down, even though some of them are still quite large. They're going down, and YouTube is going up. And I have too much experience, too many years doing this, too many tangential stories about almost everybody in the public eye. Like, you got to have a place to wheel those out,
Right, absolutely. And Hot Mics is the perfect place for that. So I'm glad we have that venue now. Now, the internet, of course, it's like there's nothing untrue on the internet. Everything on the internet is very factual, as I'm sure you know.
Sure.
I am curious to know if it's true that the Bush family is descended from English royalty through some of your ancestors. Have you ever heard that?
Let's say yes to that. I don't know, but I've never heard that. But why not?
I read that George W. was the Queen's cousin, 11th cousin once removed, whatever that means. And I was like, you know what? That's the coolest thing ever. So, I mean,
Well,
I
that
think
means that
technically.
if George W. is Kinsey, then I am too, because he's my first cousin. So
I'm talking to royalty right now, finally on the podcast.
Absolutely. Hey, Jeeves, will you get me some tea, please? I'm talking to Kinsey. Thank you, my dear.
Exactly. So you're going to make everyone curtsy to you at the local Vons going forward.
If I don't curtsy first.
I love it. I love it. Hey guys, I want to take a minute to tell you about a brand I really love. Peak. They're reimagining wellness with science-backed tea crystals and superfood blends made with the cleanest ingredients. Everything they create is designed to make daily rituals simple and effective. Whether for gut health, radiant skin, steady energy, or just feeling your best. For me, hydration was always tricky. I drank plenty of water, tried different electrolytes, and even used the right, very expensive skincare, but still had dry skin, brain fog, and trouble sleeping. That changed with Peak's deep hydration protocol. In the morning, I take BT Fountain, the beauty electrolyte. It hydrates from within, smooths skin, and gives steady energy. At night, I wind down with RE Fountain, the calming electrolyte, which has a form of magnesium that melts tension and helps me sleep deeply without the grogginess. What I love most is how clean it is. No sugar, fillers, or artificial flavors, just ingredients like lemon juice and beetroot. Within a week, my skin looked more hydrated, my focus was sharper, and I just felt better. If you want to give it a try, I've got a special link in the show notes for you, 20% off for life, plus a free gift with my link peaklife.com/Kinsey. That's PIQUE life.com/Kinsey. All right. So, one thing I wanted to ask you is about the wedding of William and Catherine, because Kate Middleton at the time, because you were there in the trenches. You
Mhm.
got to see all of the excitement surrounding this couple in, live, local. Was that a fun thing to cover? And did you really get the sense that these two people were loved by the public?
Oh yeah, yeah. There was, I mean, adulation and adoration in the streets. It was like we had only been on the air with Access Hollywood Live, the daytime version of the show, which we used to do live when I was there. We'd only been on for like a year,
Wow.
and we decided to do this fantastic countdown to the royal wedding. And we thought we would come up with these silly ways each day to take off a number and say 79 days until the royal wedding. When we and I think we started at 100, and so maybe we started at 80, but we started like, oh my God, how are we going to count down today? We've done
Almost
absolutely
too
everything.
almost too late. You started too early, maybe.
We started too early, but we would have like, we would have Henry Winkler would come out and he'd be pushing a tray of tea and he would serve tea to us at the desk. And then, the next day we'd have a flasher run out across the street and he'd open his jacket and he'd have the British flag painted on it. And we just kept going. Finally, when we got there, we found a rooftop that was above a bar, and we paid the guy, and we leased this most incredible space with the London, horizon behind us, and it was so darn exciting. It was one of my favorite live broadcasting times because you could feel just pure joy, something that we wouldn't be able to celebrate here in America. We don't do that with our elected officials, and of course they're not elected, but the pomp and circumstance is so uniting over there. I like that.
Oh, I love that too. Whenever anyone asks me why I'm obsessed with them, I talk about just the unity. Their politics are as polarizing as ours, but this is the one symbol where they can like freely be patriotic. And, I think that that's gorgeous as well. And I'm glad you agree with me there. Have you had any other royal encounters? I mean, were you ever in the same room with Queen Elizabeth? Anything like that?
I was never in the room. I'm trying to remember a very funny story. My uncle, George H.W. Bush, he gave her a gift and it went over like a lead balloon. I remember him telling us like he gave the queen, was it like an ashtray or something, a really fancy something? And she was like, oh, like, and he's like, sorry.
They're tough to please. It's like, what do you get for a person that has absolutely everything? And, you know, never in their life do they ever want something that they don't get, materialistically, I guess I should say.
George H.W. Bush gave Queen Elizabeth II a very American gift during her 1991 state visit to Washington, a silver framed photograph of himself and Barbara, along with a horse statue. The Bushes were known for choosing gifts that reflected both personal taste and American culture. I think the Queen was a little stunned by the horse and then the photo of themselves. Here, something to think of us by. So
That's hilarious. I know
it
that
didn't go over well.
I bet she liked the horse, but
Sure, she's a horse fan. Or a
yeah.
corgi would have been a huge home run.
Oh, exactly. That's a great idea. Okay, so you've been doing entertainment for 2 decades now. When was the first time you heard the name Meghan Markle?
Well, along with I worked at NBC. USA Network is in that family. Suits. Also, I didn't know her Deal or No Deal, although Howie Mandel is right around the corner. We work out of the same studio, so her first boss in the entertainment business isn't far away. And we didn't know her because we didn't know the models very well in the game show. But then, got to know her a little bit, know of her when she was on Suits, and then with the rest of the world. But she was like four or five on the call sheet, so she wasn't that well known. But then, when it hit with the rest of the world, obviously, wow, We
Right.
what a strong move from fourth on the call sheet at Suits to royal family.
I know. That's a pretty big glow up.
Do
Did
you
you watch?
believe that she didn't know that Harry was like a when she first laid eyes on Harry that she didn't really know he was a prince? Like
No. I
really?
mean, thank you for saying. Yeah. Well, that was my
Come
next
on, girl.
question for you. Did you? So I was going to ask, did you actually watch Suits? Or are you just being nice by saying that she was in the same family? Because you're right. Technically, she was in this space with you.
She
So
was
I'd
in it.
like to know if you watched Suits. And B, Harry claims in Spare that William and Catherine were secret Suits fans. Are you buying that?
No, I know. No, not
Yeah.
a chance.
Yeah, he says that like when he said I'm dating this girl, they were like, "Oh my God, we love her in Suits." And I'm like,
Mm,
"Really?"
no, we don't know her in Suits. We barely know her in Suits. I mean, maybe we've seen her once. No, there's not a chance. That's all made as made up as I didn't know he was a prince. She made a
Exactly.
hard move. She made a strong move, and boy, did it work out for her. I don't know if it worked out so well for Harry.
Agree. Well, when they leave the royal family, they start in this incredibly privileged position right out of the gate. Netflix banging down their door, Spotify. Do you think that they blew that? I mean, I who doesn't think of Bill Simmons every time we think of Harry and Meghan and their Spotify relationship now?
I know, totally. Yeah, they blew it. You know, archetypes. Her podcast series that she just realized, I don't really want to work that hard. And podcasting is a lot of work because you got to do a lot of it yourself. That's the way this works. So she's not going to do that. Meghan Markle's not going to DM somebody, and so participating in the digital universe is going to be tough for her. I just watched the first two episodes of the second season, and by the way, it wasn't renewed. It was all shot at once, and they cut it up in half. They didn't bring back the camera crews and all the expensive equipment, which costs so much money to film a second season. It was done at once. Um, and like the podcast, has an authenticity problem. She's got a problem with, she's force feeding something she wants people to swallow, and it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel authentic. You don't sit down and make paper maches and do this is all stuff that's been taught to you, and you're a very good actress. So you're turning it around and doing it on camera very well. But it's boring. It's self-serving. I can't believe that they did it. And they did it because I think it's because she's neighbors with Ted Sarandos, who is the CEO of Netflix, and they all run in the same community, in the same hang up there in Montecito.
Oh, they do say it's all about who you know
Oh
when it
yeah,
comes to this town that we're in. Can I tell you my theory, though, just to be petty?
please.
I think that they're holding on to her in case things go south so that they can have the exclusive. If anything were to happen with Prince Harry, they've seen how vengeful and how bitter she can be throughout the Oprah Winfrey interview, and they want that exclusive if anything were to ever happen within the relationship.
Wow. Okay, so it's a retainer.
Yeah, I mean, what's a first look deal? It's not them hitting the jackpot because it's not even an exclusive first look deal. Netflix is just like, hey, if you got any ideas, send them our way. And I mean, you and I could do the same thing. You and I could roll up tomorrow with some good ideas for Netflix.
Netflix does a series. They have some big deals with Shonda Rhimes and with there's a few people that have very big deals. I can't imagine that if there is another deal, it's very big at all. But maybe that is worth it because the one thing that they did, the reality series that they did, was excellent. It did
Right.
very well on Netflix because that's what people want from her.
Gossip.
I use the example of years ago. You're too young, but Trump was doing The Apprentice. Martha Stewart launched a second version of The Apprentice, Martha's version of The Apprentice, and it was not the badass Martha we know. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was Martha writing handwritten calligraphy notes saying, "I'm so sorry. Your time here at the corporation is over, and I just wish you the most wonderful." That's not the Martha we want.
No.
That's not, we want tough Martha who says, you know what, you're not cutting it, you're out. And with the docuseries, we got the real them. We got this, poop storm that they're in. With this and the soft lighting and the mason jars, it doesn't feel authentic.
That's true. Can they improve their public image? I mean, here in town, I think that they thought they would be embraced much better than they have been.
Oh,
But but
yeah.
we've got the Hollywood Reporter going after them. Why people keep quitting on the Sussexes, Vanity Fair, which really surprised me, American Hustle, which went into some of the bullying allegations. Is there a way to turn around public perception about these two?
I think Harry will always be okay. I think his perception, the perception of Harry isn't as bad as it is with Meghan because Harry gets on a plane and busts his hump and goes to the Invictus Games and then goes to Africa and does, keeps up his mother's foundation. He does that. The royal is in him. You know what I mean? We've lost him. He's gone away from the coop. He's the prodigal son. If he comes back, he will be received, but he must come back alone.
And he must come back and apologize.
He must come back. He must apologize. He must be forthright, contrite, and he must come back alone. That's the key. Meghan, when she's keynote speaker at a different event, you're like, why? When she gets the archetypes thing, like big, huge Spotify deal, why? The Netflix show, why?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
She comes off more as a grifter than he does.
Wait, let's talk about that because, okay, we're going to talk about Ryan and Blake a little bit, which you cover a lot on Hot Mics. You spoke on Hot Mics about Blake Lively having to share birthday wishes from friends on the payroll. I've mentioned this 3 times on my show this week because I thought it was so funny. And now Meghan's makeup artist is
Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel. He's in
Oh.
season 0.1 and then season 0.2. He survived the bath salts, and so he appears twice. And what you say about Blake is that when your friends are like basically paid to be there, how authentic are these friendships? Do you see similarities between Blake and Meghan? And the reason that I pivot in this direction is because you're saying why? Well, Meghan is elevated because of the man that she married, and a lot of ways Ryan Reynolds helps Blake Lively out in the same way.
Yeah, I mean, Blake was definitely more accomplished. Gossip Girl was a massive phenomenon, and had he never come along, she would be definitely able to fly private, a few times a year. I think she did, so she definitely had her jam. I think with him there's a little bit of Kool-Aid and a little bit of self-elevation, and now you're more powerful and more wieldy than you otherwise would be, to the point where you can use Taylor Swift as leverage when you're arguing with your director or trying to bully your director in a certain direction. You feel like you've got this big power behind you. She's not entirely wrong. Lionsgate recently announced, another film in development with producer and star Blake Lively. Now it's just a development thing. It wouldn't go into production for 2 years. Like you said earlier, it's a down payment just in case the thing blows over. If the Reddit comment section is still brutal to Blake, they're not going to make the movie. Right. If it blows over and the trial comes March 26, 2026, and it comes and goes, and the Reynoldses survive, okay, they'll go make the movie with her because she's done 3 movies at Lionsgate and they've all worked. Simple Favor 1 and 2, Age of Adeline, all 3 successes there. With Meghan, what they really share in common to me, and we go back to that makeup artist. Don't you dare bring up Daniel, the makeup artist of Meghan, without me I have to comment. Yeah, I see it all the time. There's so many actresses whose bestie is either hair, makeup, or wardrobe. And these are people who work for you, and the relationship is disproportionate. They listen to you and they tell you you're right, and they compliment you every step of the way. It's not a friendship. A friend tells you, girl, this show is a steaming pile of because you're forcing something down people's throats that they don't want. You're not being you. Yeah. Daniel isn't going to say that.
Right. I mean, wouldn't it be fun if let's pretend Meghan Markle really is a bully? Wouldn't it be fun if we just saw her be a monster? I mean, remember the Kelly Catrone show, the famous publicist in New York, and I'd watch that.
Mm-hmm. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
That's what we want to see.
You know
Do
what I
you
love about the Daniel thing? I just have to say, like the first episode, Daniel, the makeup artist, it's like the first or the very first episode was like, oh my God, we're all so excited. Daniel is coming. Can you believe it? Daniel's coming, and we're gonna make flambés, and it's gonna be incredible. I'm like, can you believe Daniel's coming? Oh my God. Oh my, we're running out of time. Daniel's gonna be here in 10 minutes. We have to get everything ready. Will we be able to make it in time for Daniel? It's Daniel, your makeup artist. Stop. It's such a bad production.
It
Huh.
is. I can understand if you know John Legend is about to walk through the door, but we just threw we
And he
just shoved
disappeared in 11 seconds. I mean,
yeah,
like
we
John
just
Legend
threw him
dropped
in a
off his
broom
wife for a
closet.
play date. Yeah.
Threw him in a broom closet. Play date is hilarious. All right, one more question about Blake and Ryan. I apologize for going back, but do you believe that Blake's in a better position because Ryan has proven his value in Hollywood? Harry's independent projects on Netflix have all flopped.
They're
Um,
boring.
yeah. And so I feel like Ryan is in a better position, or Blake's in a better position because Ryan is a moneymaker.
Oh, for sure. Billions of dollars. When Deadpool runs out, you're only as good as your latest receipts, and his are great. Great. And
Mm,
not to mention, the dude's got the Midas touch. I
yeah.
mean, his Wrexham soccer team he bought for $2 million. He could sell it
Wow.
for $100 million. They've moved up two different divisions. They're now in the division right below the Premier League in the UK. That's incredible. I mean, like
Yeah.
then Mint Mobile. I mean, what? I
Oh,
never
yeah.
heard of that until Ryan made $300 million on it. And then Aviation Gin. Like, what a success there. Everything he touches seems to work. He's got the charm. And if you're Blake, back when she was best friends with Taylor Swift, before Taylor absconded her duties as godmother, um, they, you're Blake, you're like, oh, my best friend is the most incredible pop star, songwriter, entrepreneur, and my husband, everything he touches. I'd like to be special too. I don't want to just be an actress in these movies. I want to produce. I want to direct. I want to own intellectual property. I want to be like Reese Witherspoon, opting big series, turning books into massive projects. So she got herself in a twist, and she
Some
decided to steal it from Justin Baldoni.
got some sharp elbows there. Yeah, wants to do her own wardrobe. I wish she wouldn't have. That I wish she
No.
would not have done that. Really quickly, you've been so gracious with your time. Thank you so much. Did the Oprah Winfrey interview hurt or help the Sussexes? I think the further we get away from it, the more harmful we realize it was for the couple. Because as Americans, we pull up our bootstraps. We are a little never complain, never explain. Let's just get it. Let's get up and get it over with. And it feels like Harry and Meghan are just like the perpetual whiners.
Taking a shot at the Queen, you know, and the royal family, especially with the Queen in her advanced age, at that, it's like it really played poorly. It played very, very poorly. Of course, there's the initial like, who did it? Who was the racist within the walls? Which one was the one? And then there's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like you're throwing that dart at you know at the monarchy. That it absolutely has aged terribly, and I think it was. I can't believe Harry allowed it. Not that he controls her, but I mean, if that camera didn't turn off and he didn't lay into her, I don't know, then he is a lost cause.
Would you have pushed back at all on any of the allegations made during the Oprah Winfrey interview? Like you said, there was
I say you cannot throw that
racism.
out there and not tell us who.
Yeah.
Say
It's
it. Say
it's
it. Don't float that out there. That's terrible.
yeah, sensational claims that still remain a mystery today and hover over why there can't be a royal reconciliation. Do you think that certain outlets or even Oprah give Harry and Meghan the coverage they want because they are biased or because they're hoping for access to the pair, which is not so far fetched with Meghan pursuing entertainment still?
Yeah, there's a great tradition in legacy media of arriving at everything that the royals do. The royals will always get a good shake. Meghan, um, I think you are correct, by the way, about a retainer like with Netflix. At least some keeping an eye on them in case things turn interesting and dramatic. Everybody's going to want access. But boy, the entertainment media has had it with her.
We have.
Yeah,
And
true.
last but not least, totally unrelated to anything we've talked about, but I couldn't find you commenting on this. Do you have a reaction to Meghan's twerking video? I just like we want privacy.
No, I liked it. Now I'm going to take a turn. I thought it was cute. I know people ragged on her and whatever, and I thought she's got moves. I like the moves. She's got rhythm. She hears the music. The little twerk was, I thought, adorable. I liked it. I said, now wait a minute. More of that, less of this cooking business and these, fake scenarios and you as Martha Stewart meets Gwyneth Paltrow. Don't feed that to people. But she's got a fun, playful side, and I like the twerk video. So that's a different, maybe a different answer, but
Maybe
she
it's
should lean into it.
maybe it's Prince Harry that's the conflict then, because we want privacy, covering up the kids' faces on
I
social
get
media.
that.
But
I get that.
yeah, so I wonder if she would rather be that girl, but it feels like she has to do something specific, like with Love Megan for Harry.
I think she'd love to pimp the kids like the Kardashians. Get them out there, put them, put them on the scene.
I think
Everybody
you're right.
that would be a whole. If Harry would say, you know what, fine, that's their next big Netflix deal. They've got one more deal in them, and that is Arch and Lilibet, and get them on the screen, and you might have another series.
I totally agree with you there. All right,
And
hot
fight.
mics. What?
Don't be like, oh my God, H, how was your day? You look tired. I just made you this little flambe that I whipped up. No. How about this? I don't like it when I want to see a real situation, something authentic.
Absolutely. We want that too. And you know who is authentic? Billy Bush. Billy Bush is very authentic. You can check out Hot Mics with Billy Bush on TuneIn Radio and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. If you're leaving me right now, please go over to his page and subscribe. Billy, what a pleasure it is to finally meet you. I've admired you forever, and you're as handsome as ever. So congratulations on your genes.
Well, thank you. You know what? I'm happy to have my hair. Guys.
Well, I know you're taking a pill for that because I watch Hot Mics enough to know.
I do. A preventative pill. I have it all. There's no spots, but what if it might be too late to get it back, so get ahead of it.
Yeah.
I can't lose my hair. I'm not tall enough or rich enough.
So Prince William, if you're listening, it might be too late. You should.
Oh, it's late. That ship sailed.
Still a handsome guy, though. All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Billy. I hope that I see you again very soon.
For sure. Thank you, Kinsey.